Jessica's sister deleted her 11-year-old's high-stakes admission project, the one Olivia had spent 5 months working on, just hours before the deadline. "Screens are evil," her sister said casually. "You'll thank us later," her mother added. Jessica didn't shout. She did this. 3 weeks later, their faces went pale. If anyone had asked Jessica that night how her day was going, she would have said, "Fine," in that automatic, lying-through-your-teeth way tired moms say it. She was just driving over to Mom and Dad's to pick her daughter Olivia up. Nothing dramatic, nothing unusual. Except the moment she stepped out of the car, she felt it. That wrongness. Like the last note of a song was off-key, but everyone kept pretending it wasn't. Her nephew Tyler was outside in the driveway throwing a ball with some kid Jessica didn't recognize. He glanced at her, then looked away like he had somewhere more important to be. Fine. Whatever. 11-year-old boys were allergic to eye contact. But Olivia wasn't there. And that was the first crack. Jessica walked into the house, and Mom practically pounced. "Oh, Jessica, thank God you're here," Mom said, pressing a hand to her chest like she'd been through some war. "Your daughter has been impossible today." Jessica froze. "Where's Olivia?" "Locked herself in the bathroom," Brittany answered, stepping out from the living room like she'd been waiting for her cue. Her voice had that sharp, triumphant edge she got when she thought she was right. Spoiler, she always thought she was right. Dad didn't even look up from whatever he was stirring on the stove. "She threw a tantrum. Over a computer. It's not normal." Jessica's stomach clenched. "What do you mean, a computer?" Mom waved her hand. "Sweetie, she was glued to that screen all day. We took it away. She needs to learn to be a kid again." Brittany nodded with faux wisdom. "Honestly, Jessica, she's addicted. It's not healthy. We were doing you a favor." "Oh, a favor. Right. Like setting fire to your house to help with heating." "Where is she?" Jessica asked. "Bathroom," Brittany said. "Crying, screaming, total meltdown." That did it. Jessica didn't bother arguing. She knew her child. Olivia didn't melt down. She didn't withdraw. She got quiet when overwhelmed, which was worse. Jessica walked down the hallway, each step louder than it needed to be. She knocked. "Olivia? It's me." A choked sob came back. Not a tantrum. Not even close. "Sweetheart, open the door." A tiny click. The door opened an inch. Then a little more. Olivia stood there with her laptop clutched against her chest like it was a wounded animal. Her face was blotchy and wet, her whole body shaking. Jessica's heart dropped. "Mom," Olivia whispered, and the word cracked in the middle. They deleted it." Jessica crouched down. "Deleted what, baby?" Olivia burst into fresh tears. "My project. My whole project. They took my laptop and I tried to tell them, but they said screens were bad and I needed to go outside, and then Aunt Brittany said she deleted everything I had open because she thought it was games, and Mom, it's gone. All of it. 5 months. Gone." The world went completely still. Like a vacuum. Like nothing existed except Olivia's shattered voice. Jessica pulled her into her arms and stood, holding onto her because she wasn't sure which one of them might collapse. "Show me," Jessica said, trying to keep her voice level, even though she could taste metal in her mouth. They walked back into the dining room where Brittany stood like she was waiting for applause. "Oh, Jessica, don't overreact," Brittany said, rolling her eyes. "I deleted whatever she had open. Kids don't need that much screen time. You should be thanking me." Mom nodded. "Exactly. It was for her own good." For her own... Jessica couldn't finish that sentence. There were too many possible endings, all of them involving profanity. Olivia sat at the table and opened the laptop with shaky fingers. Clicked the folder. Clicked again. And again. Empty. 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 She let out this quiet, broken sound, like she'd been punched in the chest but didn't have the air to cry for real. Brittany shrugged. She'll get over it. It's just files. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. For her. Of course. Jessica stared at her, and something inside her, something she'd kept folded and quiet for years, lifted its head. Olivia touched her arm. Mom, what do I do? The deadline's tomorrow morning. Her voice was so small Jessica almost didn't hear it. Jessica put her hand over Olivia's. We'll figure it out. Brittany smirked in the doorway. Honestly, Jessica, if she's crying like this over a computer, maybe it's good we intervened. Kids these days need grounding. Grounding. Right. Jessica looked at Brittany. Really looked. And Mom. And Dad. Standing together, united in their smug certainty, as if they hadn't just gutted an 11-year-old's future. At the time, Jessica thought they were just ignorant, careless, dismissive, maybe cruel, but nothing more. She didn't know yet. She didn't know how deep the betrayal went. She didn't know what they were hiding. She didn't know how far they'd already gone. Not then. But she'd find out soon enough. And what she discovered in the weeks that followed would change everything. Jessica didn't tell Olivia this part that night. Honestly, she didn't want her daughter to see how much it shook her. But as she drove home with Olivia sobbing in the back seat, clutching her empty laptop like a broken limb, one truth kept burning through Jessica's skull. They didn't just delete files. They deleted Olivia's future. 5 months earlier, Olivia had gotten the packet for the scholarship admission project. Not a cute little write about your favorite animal assignment. No, this was the kind of project private schools used to decide which kids were worth investing in. The kind of thing parents bragged about on Facebook for 2 years straight. The kind of opportunity Olivia, a shy, brilliant, STEM-obsessed kid, had been preparing for like it was her Olympic event. It was writing, research, coding, presentation design, creativity, logic, the whole academic buffet. And Olivia had devoured every inch of it, voluntarily, joyfully. Meanwhile, Tyler had spent that time leveling up in whatever game he was obsessed with that week. Brittany called that normal childhood development. But here was the thing. Jessica's family had a long history of breaking things. This time, they had just broken something that belonged to a mother who was finally done being polite. And if Jessica wanted to understand how they had become experts at pretending this behavior was normal, she had to rewind. Growing up, Jessica had always been the other daughter. Brittany could set the house on fire and Mom would explain why the matchstick had provoked her. Meanwhile, if Jessica breathed wrong, she'd get a lecture about attitude. Her entire childhood was one long, "Why can't you be more like your sister" soundtrack. And the sick thing? She believed them. She believed she was the problem. Brittany was the golden one. Jessica was the one who needed to try harder. There was never a moment, not one, where anyone chose her. By adulthood, she should have grown out of it, right? You'd think motherhood and a mortgage would earn her a graduation certificate from Dysfunctional Family Academy. But nope, the pattern just evolved. Brittany became the perfect mother with the perfect son. Jessica became the background utensil whose job was to smile, help, and accept criticism while they praised their living room shrine to Tyler's achievements. He got a B in math! He's gifted! Meanwhile, Olivia could cure cancer, and they'd ask if she remembered to say thank you. Jessica spent years brushing it off. It's just family, she'd tell her husband Marcus. They don't mean anything by it. I'm probably imagining it. But deep down, she knew the truth. And the truth tasted a lot like bile. When the scholarship competition had been announced, both kids were excited. Something they could do together, supposedly. Tyler made a Canva slide and got bored after an hour. He announced at dinner that he was dropping out because it's dumb. Brittany praised his self-awareness. Olivia, meanwhile, lit up like someone had plugged her into a generator. She spent 5 months building something incredible. She never complained, never bragged. She was excited. And Jessica's parents knew. Brittany knew. Everyone knew how much work Olivia had poured into it. Which was why, when they took Olivia's laptop and deleted everything, Jessica thought, naively, that it was just ignorance. Just them not understanding. Just them being careless. She told herself they didn't mean to destroy Olivia's chances. They didn't think it through. They just didn't understand how important it was. Back then, that was genuinely what Jessica believed. But the truth? The truth crawled in later. Slow, ugly, heavy. And every new piece of information felt like a bruise forming under the skin. Jessica and Olivia didn't talk on the drive home. Not because Jessica didn't want to, but because Olivia was sitting in the back seat like someone had unplugged her soul. Arms wrapped around her laptop, eyes staring at nothing, breathing too quiet. By the time they stepped through the front door, Jessica's chest hurt, like an actual physical ache, the kind only rage and helplessness could make. Olivia sat on the living room rug and opened the laptop before Jessica had even taken her shoes off. "Okay," Jessica said softly. "Let's just look." Olivia clicked the project folder. Still empty. She swallowed hard. Maybe it's in the trash?" Jessica suggested, kneeling beside her. Her voice was too bright, like a kindergarten teacher trying to distract a child from a gaping wound. Olivia clicked. Trash. Empty. Her lip trembled. Why would she empty the trash? Who empties the trash? Apparently your aunt, Jessica muttered. Dry humor, her only survival mechanism. Olivia made a choking noise, half sob, half laugh, like her last nerve had snapped in half. Okay, Jessica tried again. Okay, let's think. Maybe it's backed up somewhere. Olivia blinked at her, eyes huge and terrified. Where? Jessica didn't have a clue. But moms weren't allowed to say, "I don't know," during crises. Maybe in your email, Jessica said. Did you ever send anything to your teacher? Olivia opened her email, scrolled. For a moment, Jessica held her breath so hard she thought she'd explode. Then Olivia whispered, "Mom, look." An attachment, a file, old, incomplete, but real. The January version. Not the final one, not even close. But something. Olivia's shoulders sagged with relief and horror at the same time. This is all we have, she said quietly. And somehow, that was worse. Jessica sat down on the floor next to her. We'll rebuild it. Olivia shook her head. Mom, it's too much. It took months. Jessica put her hand over Olivia's. Then we'll do months in a night. Olivia looked up at her. The tiny, exhausted tilt of her chin nearly destroyed Jessica. But Olivia nodded. They opened the old file, and the real work began. The first hour was mostly tears. Olivia's, Jessica's, both of theirs. Hard to tell. Olivia would scroll down and gasp, I wrote a whole section here, I can't remember it. And then crumble. Or, I had charts here, I had diagrams, before burying her face in her hands. Every time Olivia cried, something inside Jessica cracked. And every time something cracked, something else hardened. Brittany hadn't just deleted files. She'd deleted pieces of Olivia's confidence, one click at a time. Around midnight, they had about 1/4 of the project reconstructed. It looked like a skeleton, recognizable, but sad and bare. Olivia stared at the empty sections like they were crime scenes. I hate this, she said softly. It's not good. It's not the same. No, Jessica said. It's not. Olivia blinked at her like she wasn't expecting honesty. But it's still yours, Jessica added. And we're still submitting something. We're not letting them take that too. Olivia wiped her nose on her sleeve. What if it's not enough? It'll be enough to prove you showed up, Jessica said. And sometimes that's half the war. Olivia snorted. That's not comforting. Good, Jessica said. It wasn't meant to be comforting. It's meant to be true. Olivia actually laughed. A tiny, exhausted puff of a laugh. Then she kept typing. Around 2 a.m., Olivia hit a wall. Her fingers froze above the keys. She whispered, Mom, I can't remember the last part. The whole ending. It's gone. Her voice sounded like glass cracking. Jessica gently pulled the laptop toward her. Let me try. She typed until her eyes burned. Badly. Awkwardly. Like a raccoon trying to write a thesis. Olivia leaned on her shoulder, reading silently, eyebrows pinched in pain. It's not what I wrote, Olivia murmured. I know, Jessica said. But we'll fix it. Olivia didn't believe her. Jessica barely believed herself. By 4 a.m., Olivia was slumped sideways against her, cheeks sticky with old tears. Her little hands rested on the keyboard like they were too tired to try anymore. Jessica kept typing, and typing, and deleting, and typing again. Somewhere around 6 a.m., Olivia fell asleep curled against Jessica's hip. Jessica didn't dare move. At 7:52 a.m., Olivia woke up long enough to hit submit. Then she whispered, I don't even want to know the result. The next 2 weeks were long, quiet, and filled with the kind of tension you feel in waiting rooms. Even Marcus moved more gently, like the air around Olivia might break if touched wrong. But the silence was worse than crying, worse than rage. It was the silence of a child who'd lost something she'd built with her entire heart. And Jessica was waiting for something too. The moment Mom and Dad or Brittany would show a flicker of remorse. A crack. A hint of guilt. Nothing. They didn't call. They didn't text. They didn't check on Olivia. They moved on like they'd simply cleaned out a junk drawer. Like nothing significant had happened. And that silence was its own kind of answer. Something was off. Something was wrong. Something didn't add up. But Jessica kept pushing the thought away. Because the alternative, the darker explanation, was too painful to consider. Not yet. 2 weeks later, Olivia walked into the kitchen holding her Chromebook like she'd found a bomb. Mom, she said, they posted the finalists. Jessica dried her hands and took the laptop. Olivia's name wasn't there. Tyler's was. Jessica stopped breathing. She couldn't blink. She couldn't speak. It felt like someone opened the front door of her brain and punched her in the face. Olivia stared at the ground. He didn't even want to keep going. Jessica swallowed. Her mouth tasted like metal. Let's see the description, she said. Olivia clicked. Jessica read. The back of her neck prickled. Her stomach dropped. The room tilted. The project topic. The formatting. The phrasing. The concept. She knew it. She had read it. Lived through it. Because Olivia had written it. Olivia, Jessica whispered. I don't know what this means yet. But something isn't right. Jessica drove to her parents' house with Olivia beside her, silent and trembling. Brittany opened the door like she'd been practicing her expression in the mirror, sympathetic, condescending, and smug all at once. Oh, Jessica, she said. What's up? Jessica didn't answer. She walked past her. Mom and Dad were in the living room, pretending to be surprised. What's going on? Dad asked. Jessica held up the flyer. Explain this. Mom squinted. Oh, Tyler got in. Isn't that great? Where did his project come from? Jessica asked. Dad frowned. Are you accusing us of something? I'm asking, she said, what he submitted. Brittany's smile flickered. A crack. A glitch. Then she smoothed it over. You're being ridiculous, she said. Olivia is upset she didn't get picked. You're feeding it. Olivia stepped behind Jessica, gripping her shirt. Jessica turned to Brittany. Tell me the truth. Brittany crossed her arms. There's nothing to tell. Lie. Mom clasped her hands. Jessica, don't ruin this for Tyler. And there it was. The slip. The truth buried inside the phrasing. Ruin what? Jessica asked quietly. No one answered. She walked out. That night, after Olivia was finally asleep, Jessica sent the email. She attached the old draft screenshots, dates, timestamps, everything they still had. No accusations, just facts. The kind that cut deeper than any insult. The committee replied in the morning, "We will review this." That was it. No promises, no reassurance. But Jessica didn't need reassurance. She just needed the truth. 2 days later, the school posted a flyer. Finalist presentations. Open to the public. Tyler's name was at the top. Brittany texted Jessica. Don't come. Seriously, don't embarrass yourself. Jessica stared at the message. Then she turned her phone off. She wasn't planning to embarrass herself, but someone else was about to be embarrassed, and they had no idea what was coming. If you've never walked into an auditorium knowing a bomb is going to go off, but no one else realizes they're standing 5 feet from the blast radius, let Jessica tell you, it's a special kind of adrenaline. She and Olivia stepped through the doors, and the air practically crackled. People chatting, programs rustling, families taking photos. Normal, innocent chaos. Meanwhile, Jessica felt like she was walking in with a live grenade tucked under her arm. Brittany spotted them first. Her face pinched like she'd bitten a lemon dipped in battery acid. She whispered something to her husband, Colin, who looked like he wanted to dissolve into the chair, and then hissed across the aisle, "I told you not to come!" Jessica smiled sweetly. "Oh, Brittany, you know I never listen to you." Mom whipped around. "Jessica, don't start." Dad followed with, "Let's keep things civil today." Civil. Right. Apparently stealing a child's 5-month project and passing it off as your son's was the new definition of civil. Olivia squeezed Jessica's hand. She looked nervous but strangely composed, like she'd decided she'd rather face a firing squad than be afraid of Brittany ever again. Good. She was growing up beautifully. Tyler's name was called halfway through the program. He walked on stage looking like someone had shoved him there with a cattle prod. Pale, sweaty, eyes darting everywhere. Jessica almost felt bad for him. Almost. Until she remembered the night Olivia cried herself sick because her entire future had been wiped out by adults who thought she didn't matter. Tyler cleared his throat into the mic. This is, my project. It's about community, things, improving, stuff. Inspirational. He clicked to the next slide like it might explode in his hands. Judges leaned forward, clearly confused when the boy who supposedly created a multi-layer urban planning model couldn't explain what a community anchor point was. His voice shook. It's like people and things. Professor-level analysis. Then a judge asked, "What was the most challenging part of your research process?" Tyler froze. He looked at Brittany like he expected her to run on stage and rescue him. She stared back, smiling at him like an airbrushed refrigerator magnet. Then Olivia raised her hand. Not timidly, not reluctantly, like a girl who had been quiet long enough. A judge blinked at her. "Yes?" Olivia stood. Her voice trembled for 1 second, just one, before she steadied. "You're asking about the research process?" she said. "For this project?" Tyler's eyes widened. Brittany's head snapped toward them so fast, Jessica heard something crack. The judge nodded slowly. Yes? Olivia launched into an explanation so clean, sharp, and articulate that the entire auditorium seemed to lean in. She described demographic mapping, survey modeling, community use patterns, all the things she had worked on for months. She spoke like someone who breathed the material. Tyler spoke like someone who had learned English yesterday. A wave of murmurs washed through the crowd. Brittany hissed, "Sit down, Olivia." Mom added, "This is embarrassing." Dad muttered, "Such a show-off." Jessica ignored them. By the time Olivia finished, the judges exchanged looks. The kind of looks that said, "Ah, we see exactly what happened here." One of them stood. "Could we see both families backstage, please?" Brittany's face went corpse white. Colin's soul looked like it left his body. Mom clutched her purse like she might throw it at someone. They followed the judges into a side room where one of them, Dr. Lawson, folded his hands. "We have reason to believe this project was not created by Tyler." Silence. Thick. Electric. Jessica unlocked her phone, pulled up the drafts, the timestamps, the emails. "This is Olivia's work," she said. "Every version. Every step." Brittany lunged forward. "That is a lie! Jessica manipulated those! She taught Olivia to say those things!" Dr. Lawson raised an eyebrow. "You're alleging fabrication?" "Yes!" Brittany shrieked. "Yes! They stole my son's work!" Jessica's mother, who had apparently followed them into the room without invitation, chimed in, "Jessica always wants attention. She's making Olivia lie." Dad nodded. "This is harassment. Our family won't be slandered." And then a judge quietly asked Tyler, "Did you make this project?" Tyler stared at the floor. His chin quivered. His hands shook. "Tyler," Olivia whispered softly, "it's okay." Brittany snapped, "Don't talk to him!" Tyler broke. "Mom made me," he sobbed. "She said Olivia doesn't deserve everything. She said I had to win. She said she'd be disappointed if I didn't. I didn't even want the scholarship." Colin closed his eyes like he was begging God to erase his entire marriage. Dr. Lawson exhaled slowly. "That settles it." Brittany sputtered. "He's lying! He's being manipulated! Dr. Lawson raised his hand. "Tyler is disqualified. Effective immediately." Mom gasped like he'd announced the earth was ending. "And," he added, "because this scholarship carries financial value, we are required to file an official fraud report." Brittany's mouth hung open. Colin whispered, "Oh my God." Mom grabbed Dad's arm. "Do something." Dad answered, "What? Bribe them?" For once, he sounded sane. "And," Dr. Lawson continued, "given the testimonies and the pressure placed on Tyler, we are referring this to CPS for review." Brittany looked like someone had unplugged her brain. Jessica felt a strange calm settle over her. Not joy, not triumph, just a deep, exhausted relief that someone, finally, saw what her family really was. A judge turned to Olivia. "You are the rightful creator. You will receive the scholarship." Olivia's eyes filled, not with the same tears she'd cried in that bathroom weeks ago. These were different. She nodded quietly. It had been 6 months, and every morning Olivia headed into school with a confidence Jessica used to only see in glimpses. Olivia was in the gifted program now, the one the scholarship had earned her a spot in, and she talked about it like it was her second home. She came back every day with things Jessica didn't fully understand. Half-built engineering prototypes, research assignments that looked like graduate-level work, group projects with kids who loved learning as much as Olivia did. Olivia had friends who challenged her, teachers who actually saw her, and a spark Jessica had been terrified had died the night that laptop was wiped. And Olivia was happy. Really, truly happy. Jessica's family? Their timeline looked different. Tyler ended up switching schools. Mutual decision, Brittany claimed, even though every parent in their old district knew the truth. Fraud stuck. Even at the new school, people whispered. Invitations dried up fast. Brittany now had an official fraud note on her record. Nothing dramatic, but enough to block certain jobs and shred her PTA ambitions. CPS still checked in from time to time after what Tyler had confessed. Mom and Dad lost most of their social circle. Turns out sabotaging a child didn't make you very popular at potlucks. Jessica and Olivia were no contact with them now. Peaceful. Quiet. Honestly, better. Olivia was thriving. Their lives, not so much. So what do you think? Did she go too far or not far enough? Let her know in the comments and subscribe for more.